Broadcasting live from Shatterskull, the Hammer Pass, on the plane of Zendikar, this is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome everybody to Tap Tap Concede. Graham here with Nelson.
Hi there.
And Cameron.
Hello.
And today we are going to be cracking some packs. We're into Zendikar and we're still playing it, but I don't know if our opinions have changed drastically since last episode, except that I think we said something about there wasn't some super broken mythic tearing through standard, and I guess that was wrong. But apart from that, we decided we're going to take an episode to crack some packs for fun and value, or I guess not value, but look, don't worry about it. Hey, before we get into it, a shout out to Card Kingdom, who sponsors this show. Check out cardkingdom.com/LRR for all of your card needs. A reminder, they'll ship singles anywhere in the world, and they'll do it so fast. And you can tell them loading ready run sent me button please, and they'll give you a little 1-inch button which says put in the woo in Wooburg. And of course, this show and everything we do is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loading ready run. Before we get into the show, a fun thing coming up, speaking of Card Kingdom, is this coming Friday on the Friday Night Paper Fight on twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun, or if you're watching this on the LRRMTG YouTube channel, this is where the replay will go up. We're doing a fun thing for the Friday Night Paper Fight. We're doing the Zendikar World Tour.
Ooh.
So myself, James, Serge, and special guest Kenji Egashira will be playing Paper Magic in our respective homes, of course, doing a world tour of Zendikar sealed. And what that means is we each have 2 packs from Zendikar Rising, 2 packs from Battle for Zendikar, and 2 packs from Zendikar. And I don't know how it's going to come together, but I can't wait to find out. So that's October 2nd at 5 p.m. if you want to watch it live, and the replay will be on this very YouTube channel.
I got a terrible spoiler for you. What you do is you open up the packs of Zendikar, then you open up the packs of Zendikar Rising, and then you take the packs of Battle for Zendikar and you use them as bookmarks.
Well,
or you can just you get a Sharpie out and turn them into elf creature tokens or something.
I'm curious how the subtypes interact, because there's allies in the 2 earlier sets, but not in Zendikar Rising.
But there's good cards in the first set and the third set.
That is true. But some of the allies in the first 2 sets also have relevant party subtypes.
That's true.
So I'm curious if there's a sort of a party ally synergy that can happen there. I can't wait to find out. I'm building on stream. So, yay.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
For today, though, James asked me to get 3 older packs, because last time we did some Kraka packs, they were a little bit more recent. So I have 3 packs in front of me that I got from the Moonbase that are 9, 10, and 25 years old, respectively.
Nice.
Exciting.
And we'll start with the most recent pack and then work our way backwards. Why not? So we're going to start. This is a pack given to us by Philippe on Andrew's behalf. It says, okay, on Andrew G's behalf. All right. Well, thank you, Andrew G. And thanks, Philippe, for transporting it. I don't know what show, or maybe this was for mail time or something, but thank you both. 9 years ago, can either of you guess what pack we're opening first?
9 years? Is that Shadows over Innistrad? No, that's too recent.
I'm going to guess 2011.
Yep.
That would have been Lorwyn.
No, that's a little too late. Is it Zendikar?
Nope. You were close with your first guess. This is original Innistrad.
Oh, first Innistrad. Okay, great.
Yeah, 2011,
What?
man.
No.
It's weird. In some ways, it feels like time hasn't been standing still.
All right, let's open this up. So yeah, Cam, this was in fact 9 years ago.
The horror element is strong.
Yeah. All right, first up we have Doomed Traveler.
Hey,
All right.
good boy.
You know this guy. Single white mana for a 1/1 human soldier. When Doomed Traveler dies, put a +1/+1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Or I'm sorry, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying would be the new templating.
Love to feed this guy to people.
Yeah, just a hot meat and potatoes aristocrats card, and also just a solid player. Basically a 2/2 for 1 with half of it having flying.
Yeah, this guy puts the meat and potatoes in meat and potatoes.
Next we have Lost in the Mist. 3 blue for an instant counter target spell. Return target permanent to its owner's hand.
Not everyone's favorite modes of Cryptic Command, but only 1 more mana and a common. It was vaguely playable in this draft environment.
Yeah, I think vaguely playable sums it up pretty well. Cam, did you have any recollections of this?
No comments on this one. It's absolutely here.
It turns out that a big part of Cryptic Command is having the flexibility.
Undeniably here, yeah.
And also being 4 mana.
Oh, yeah, you're right. This thing's 5. Wow.
Yeah.
You felt bad to get caught by this. Next, Elder Cathar. 2 and a white for a 2/2 human soldier. When Elder Cathar dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. If that creature is a human, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it instead. Right, this was the set that made human tribal a thing. Humans didn't really matter until Innistrad.
It's the set with Champion of the Parish.
Yeah, this guy and Travel Trap.
Oh, yeah.
What was the other one? Captain of the Hamlet Captain?
Hamlet Captain. Yep, that's a card. Other attacking humans get +1/+1.
Definitely a big fan of green-white humans. That was a good deck in the draft.
Absolutely.
Tasty.
Next is it's a card with a little bit of a funny backstory. It's Grave Bramble. 1 green for a 3/4 plant with Defender and protection from zombies.
My mom still plays this game on her iPad, actually.
No way.
It's still going. There's like 50 releases or whatever for Plants vs. Zombies. I don't think it's in the news much anymore or anything, but yeah. Plants vs. Zombies is still making someone some money.
That's impressive because they kind of utterly ruined it with the Garden Warfare game. That they, like once EA, was it EA or Activision? One of them took over Plants vs. Zombies from PopCap and or I think they just bought PopCap and they made it into some sort of awful microtransaction fueled abomination.
Sniff. Single tier.
Yeah, but the original Plants vs. Zombies was super cool. This card, I guess we should talk about the card briefly.
Do we have to?
I mean, it was pretty all right. Like you'd run a Grave Bramble if you really had to, right?
You only board it in. I don't think any of the green decks want a wall in the 3-drop slot. But if your opponent has a good zombies deck, you definitely bring it in. Or if your opponent is just some like hasty deck or the green-white humans deck, yeah, you can play it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you should main it. That's like 2 good archetypes I just named. I have brought it in a bunch. I just hate walls. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. You're allowed. Next is the card that taught me at the Innistrad pre-release how the phases and steps of combat work. It's Ambush Viper. 1 and a green for a 2/1 snake with flash and death touch. Specifically, it was my opponent flashed in Ambush Viper, blocked with it, and then I killed it with Geist Flame and didn't understand. I should have killed the Ambush Viper before he blocked with it. I don't know if I was necessarily given that opportunity, but the point is realizing that the damage didn't go through at that point, and I was like, oh, but I did have a window of opportunity to kill it where I could have killed it and still had the damage go through. I was like, okay, I've learned a lesson here.
That's already like the solar system level brain, misunderstanding of how combat works. Like the regular like monkey brain one is just like block, then cast Ambush Viper block, or like
right.
or they're going to attacks and you're like, okay, before you attack, I'm gonna flash an Ambush Viper, right? Like both of those plays are even totally reasonable ones to make when you're just learning how to play Magic.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, good for you. The like trying to make sure that your creature doesn't get blocked in the first place line that's pretty high up there in terms of understanding flash creatures.
This little guy put in a lot of work in this format just because sometimes you really needed it's the green Doomblade. You just needed to kill stuff sometimes.
Absolutely. Also, we just nicknamed him Snapcaster Mage for how many times, from the same set, they're both 2 mana for a 2/1 flash. And like often enough, all you need out of Snapcaster Mage is just suddenly a blocker.
Next is Ghoul Caller's Bell. Single mana for an artifact. Tap. Each player puts the top card of his or her library into their graveyard.
This is a miserable card.
It's miserable?
I don't know if you've ever died to this, but it sucks.
Dying to Ghoul Caller's Bell?
Yeah.
Oh,
no good.
Yeah, got into Modern, obviously. Like this card enabled the, that Lantern deck. Yeah, it's one of the cards, at least in one of the versions that got in.
Because ordinarily in Innistrad Limited, you would want to be milling yourself because there was flashback and you needed creatures to make your zombies and stuff. But I guess sometimes you could just mill your opponent.
I mean, it is each player. There was the flashback mill card.
Oh, yeah. Dream Twist?
That's the one. There you go.
Right.
Dream Twist.
Single blue for an instant. Target player puts the top 3 cards into their library, and then flashback only for 1 and a blue. I definitely remember, I think at some point, James and I might have drafted like a deck with 4 or 5 Dream Twists.
There was also a curse, I want to say, that milled.
Definitely. There was Curse of the Bloody Tome. There was a whole mill archetype, yeah, and there was some targeted mill that would sometimes go to you and sometimes go to them on the blue creatures, like Sell-Off Occultist, I think, could mill them or could mill you. But yeah, the Ghoul Caller's Bell is sort of good for the same reason that Flame Rift is good, right? Like if you're playing some cards that mill them effectively, like the ones we just looked at, and then also you have this bell, it's like, well, the total number of, points of damage I need to deal is lower. So even though that comes at a cost, it won't matter unless my opponent is a faster mill deck than me. So it scans as like a reasonable mill card.
Next, oh god, we don't have enough of these. It's Bump in the Night. Single black mana for a sorcery. Target opponent loses 3 life. Flashback for 5 and a red.
Oh, it's the thing that we all like.
What's that? What's Sir Barristan, right? Is it Sir Barrister or Sir Barristan? Barrister is like a lawyer. Sir Barristan, like getting thrown out of King's Landing, is like, just put it on the pile with the others.
Yeah, right.
For those who don't know, what happened was we did a draft at the Moonbase just for fun. Like we weren't streaming it or anything. And we hadn't really played the set much. And I want to say Adam and Paul each had like 4 or 5 of these. And they played against one another, and it was just like Bump in the Night, Bump in the Night, Bump in the Night, Bump in the Night, flashback, Bump in the Night, Bump in the Night, flashback, Bump in the Night. And it just became a thing that we thought was really hilarious and goofy. And then that year was when we were like, hey, here's a fun idea that was fun, but was also actually a colossal pain, which is why we've never done it since, which was, hey, if you see us at a convention or a GP or something, give us this specific card and we'll give you the like secret little button, like the things we do with Card Kingdom now. And we wanted it to be a common one that, was easily accessible. And so we were like, oh, Bump in the Night. Perfect. Which is why Bump in the Night is still in the opening animation of LRRMTG, because it just became a loading ready run meme basically. And now we have
hundreds.
It's like
Thousands?
1,000 or so. I think it's less than 2,000.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, north. It could easily be north of 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Hilarious.
As it happens, in draft I kind of like this card. Honestly, in the right deck, it was not amazing, but yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Next is Ranger's Guile, which I think was just reprinted in the core set.
That sounds right. It's been printed a few times. I can't remember.
Or was it in Ikoria? It's been reprinted recently.
It was in M21.
M21.
Looks like.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
So just this core set.
So single green mana, instant, target creature you control gains +1/+1 and hexproof until end of turn. Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Blanking removal always feels good, even if it costs you a card.
Stromkirk Patrol is next. 4 and a black for a 4/3 vampire soldier. Whenever Stromkirk Patrol deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Bit big for a Slith.
Yeah. These guys were not good, I remember.
It got a little better when, like, the priority you would want to put on having vampire filler got a little higher when there was the Uncommon Lord in the Dark Ascension set.
Right, because it gave them first strike as well.
Yeah, and so then they have 4 power in first strike, or 5 power in first strike, I guess, when the Lord's out. And then it's a bit easier to deal combat damage to a player, and also they're just kind of worth the investment. But yeah, this is some real chaff.
I feel like this was the worst vampire? Like, I'm just thinking back to the draft, and like, you were never happy having to play a Stromkirk patrol, and I want to say it was the worst one.
That definitely feels right.
Yeah, probably. There would occasionally be a time, late in the game, you might want this more than like the 2/1 that has to attack. But when you're building your deck, you want the 2/1.
Next is Curiosity. Single blue mana for a creature enchantment. Whenever the enchanted creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card.
Pretty slick. Was printed into standard for the first time in, I want to say, almost a decade for itself. Maybe more than a decade.
Oh, wow. Is Curiosity that old?
Yeah. Around 2000, I think.
Wow. Is it Stronghold it's from originally?
No, Urza's...
Exodus.
Wow. Right.
Yeah, an old card.
Yeah, like Invisible Stalker, right?
Yep. Or Niv Mizzet from Ravnica.
Ooh, yeah. Best friends.
Oh, right, because it's just damage. It's not even combat damage. Right.
Yeah. Yes.
That's good stuff. Slayer of the Wicked is next. 3 and a white for a 3/2 human soldier. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target vampire, werewolf, or zombie. What a great card to have in draft.
Yeah, I think I overvalued this card a little bit because the ceiling is just so high.
It is. It's really high.
And once you lose one game to Olivia Voldaren, you're just kind of shook.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, Olivia's so scary, though.
Like, occasionally, this guy will just do nothing if you're up against, like, the green-white humans deck. But the games where it delivers, yeah.
But, like, in this pack, like, say your first, like, pack one, pick one. I want to say if you're taking a white card, it's probably supposed to be Doom Traveler. Anyways, that was my experience with this card. It is very strong when it's good.
Next is Paraceline. 2 and a white for a sorcery. Destroy all enchantments. You gain 1 life for each enchantment destroyed this way. Did you ever see this played in Limited?
I don't think so, no.
Actually, sorry, let me correct that. Have you ever seen this played?
I've never seen it on the stack, no.
No.
I have seen it in a deck list that includes Enchanted Evening.
Oh my god, gross.
Yeah, and then you make some indestructible stuff and then you win instead of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So our rare, which is not the last card in the pack, is Mentor of the Meek.
Hey! Everyone loves Mentor of the Meek.
Yeah. 2 and a white for a 2/2 human soldier. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, draw a card.
Is this card just supposed to be in standard all the time? It just always seems like something white can do that's not unfair, but is kind of good. You don't like to see your opponent drawing an extra card for 1 generic mana every turn, sometimes 2 or 3 times as the game goes on. Like, you got to kill this guy, and yet the rate is fine. They should probably just print Mentor of the Meek as a 3/3 for 3.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know. Yeah.
I love Mentor. Good
like
card.
Bygone Bishop was also good. And
that's the one that made Clues.
Yeah, it's just sort of the homage to Mentor of the Meek from Shadows over Innistrad.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just never, I can't remember this card ever like making huge waves, like being, pro tier level important. And yet it's obviously solid. Lost some games at F&M to it.
Rounding out the pack, we have an ad card for Innistrad event decks. We have the double face card token replacement thing. And then we have our double face card. This is the first time they ever did it. Back in Innistrad, printing on both halves. And we have Reckless Waif. 1/1 for a single red mana, human rogue werewolf. At the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, transform Reckless Waif. And she turns into Merciless Predator, a 3/2 werewolf. And with the other half of the werewolf ability, at the beginning of each upkeep, if a player cast 2 or more spells last turn, transform Merciless Predator.
I remember loving this card.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
She's good.
Yeah. Ginger Snaps was the real deal.
Yeah. I'd definitely take Mentor out of this pack, but...
I mean, I definitely wouldn't feel bad being past Reckless Waif.
No, definitely not.
The only weird thing about Reckless Waif is that it's printed in the same, set and slot in the pack as a creature with the same mana cost almost and same stats and same transform stats that is for some reason the better aggressive 1-drop creature, and it's in blue, and it's just so infuriating. It's like Reckless Waif isn't even a bad card. Why does Delver of Secrets have to just like, slap it around with the Velvet Glove or whatever? Like, come on.
Delver, yeah. I mean, Delver's like
why is this a blue card?
Delver's still relevant too.
Well, you see, Nelson,
Yeah,
it's just way harder to flip Delver.
Oh yeah, it's so tricky.
Yeah, right? Like, how many instants and sorceries are you running in limited where this is relevant?
Balancing blue cards, man. Still one of the harder things to do, I'm sure, from the R&D side.
But like Reckless Waif, it just felt so good when you were like Mountain Reckless Waif and your opponent was like, Island, go?
Haha. Thank you, by the way, to Philippe and Andrew G for that one. Going back to 2010, any guesses as to what this is?
Is it M11?
No, but you're close.
I'm drawing a blank for what the set before Innistrad was, and that's a little embarrassing.
Oh, actually, I guess this is technically 2009. I'm sorry.
Scars?
Oh, okay. Is it M10?
It is. It's a 2010 core set.
Oh.
This was given to us by Jonas, and thank you for that. I don't know. James said grab some older ones, and I was like, all right, this is 10 years ago. It's actually 11 years ago. I didn't even realize.
Okay, wait. It was first Zendikar then in 2010, I think. Is that right? Or 2009?
Yes.
Or no, maybe there's one more set in between those two. Go ahead and open the pack. Sorry.
Okay. First up, Razorfoot Griffin. 3 and a white for a 2/2 Griffin with flying and first strike.
This always got me, and I never was able to play it correctly. I would always face this with like my deck of like Drakes. And then whenever I had it, my opponents had like 2-3 flyers. And I'm like, come on.
I hate when that happens. There's always a card in some limited format. Like there's always a card where it's like, it just dumpsters me when my opponent has it and I can never make it work. And I totally know how you feel. Zendikar was indeed September 2009, we are being told.
Oh.
Right, because it was Zendikar, Worldwake, Rise of Eldrazi, and was it Scars and then Innistrad, Nelson?
I think that's right.
All right.
Here I am, having forgotten more about Magic than, I don't know, you'll ever know, lol. Like, whatever the end of that line is, forgotten everything I ever knew, at least. Yeah.
Next, we have Essence Scatter, which I think was... Is this one literally in Zendikar Rising, or no? This was also in Ikoria?
It was in Ikoria. It was just in Ikoria. And it's been reprinted a few times. Yeah.
1 and a blue, instant counter target creature spell. Sure, why not? Oh, yeah. Next up, old favorite, Raging Goblin.
Yeah.
1/1 for 1 red with haste, with a flavor text everybody loves. He raged at the world, at his family, at his life, but mostly, it just raged.
Sure does. Sure does.
Next is a card that I don't remember ever seeing. I don't think I played a lot of this set. Bramble Creeper, 4 and a green for a 0/3 elemental. Whenever it attacks, it gets +5/+0 until end of turn.
Huh. I have like no memory of this card.
That seems real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't... Are we sure this card ever existed before this moment? I have no memory of it.
That seems awful.
Is there like some elaborate prank happening to the podcast right now?
Yeah. This is the only time it's ever been printed, apparently. All right. Yeah, let's move on. Excommunicate, 2 and a white is a sorcery. Put target creature on top of its owner's library. Woof.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh. Sorcery speed.
Yeah.
Really? This card's great in white. I love it. It's time ebb. It's sorcery, but you can just cast it and then attack. I've played this card so many times in that limited format.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Yeah.
Crawworm is next. 4 green for a 6/4 worm.
I didn't know Crawworm got new art.
Yeah, this might have been the last time they ever printed it. I think this art is from 7th. Because Crawworm was in the core set a bunch of times. But, since I want to say M10, they started being like, wait, 6 mana in green. We need to give it something. It can't just be Crawworm.
Was Crawworm in alpha?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
It was the first Maw.
Hey, Ma.
Look how far Maw has come.
Yeah.
Oh,
Aww.
right. Yeah, there's the art. I remember. Next is Cancel. 1 blue, counter target spell. This is with the cool like rules text of just counter target spell justified in the dead center of the text box.
Nope.
Yeah. Silvercoat Lion is next. It's a 2/2 with 1 and a white. Or sorry, 2/2 with 1 and a white. It's a 2/2 for 1 and a white.
There we go.
And that's all it does. It's a cat. Meow. Cool.
It's either angry or hungry or sleepy.
Or all of the above.
Yeah, I know. I get one of those things makes me the other two usually.
Sign in Blood is next. Black for a sorcery. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life.
Good card.
I definitely remember learning that I could kill somebody with this.
Yeah, I just killed somebody with this earlier this week.
Really?
I love this card. Yeah. Yeah, I generally always play it if my Highlander decks can cast it comfortably.
Nice.
Really?
Well, I really like that it's a burn spell and a card drawing spell.
Love it.
Not a lot of cards do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this art has held up.
Mm-hmm. It's creepy. Soul Warden is next. Single white mana for a 1/1 human cleric. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under anyone's control, gain 1 life.
Yeah, it's absolutely this card.
Still around. Yep, still doing things today. You may have seen it across the board, making your opponent's Johnny Primates bigger.
Yep. Now we're into the uncommons. There's some here I don't recognize, or at least not super familiar with. Fabricate. 2 and a blue, sorcery. Search your library for an artifact, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library.
This card's as good as it looks. I can't remember if it's still currently a point in Highlander, but it has been.
No way, really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the more cards you allow, the better this card gets.
Yeah, this gets you your win condition.
Now, I do remember this one. Howl of the Night Pack. 6 and a green. Sorcery. Put a 2/2 wolf token into the battlefield for each forest you control.
I don't think I'm familiar with this card. Interesting.
It's expensive, but it certainly ends a conversation real quick.
Yeah, this card has been sold out on multiple occasions at Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, I can imagine. Huh. Okay. Yeah. Actually, this seems like an interesting problem for Limited, right? How many wolves before this feels good?
Yeah, like if you get 5.
Like 3? 4? It's probably like the basement. 4?
Yeah, if you're casting it for only 3, that's a 6/6 for 7. And at that point, being spread across 3 bodies is actually bad.
Yeah.
But as long as you're getting 4 or 5, it's pretty nice. Obviously, unlimited if you can manage to get a mono green deck together, you're happiest.
Our last uncommon, once again, a card that's been printed, or at least is a reprint of a card that was printed very early, is White Knight. White for a 2/2 human knight with first strike and protection from black.
Yeah, this is an alpha card, I believe.
Also an alpha card, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. The original art for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, the original art looks more like Monty Python and looks less like a comic book, but
Yeah.
Yeah, like every once in a while I would be in YJ and people would be like, I got an itching in my bones, gonna sleeve up like White Knight this week. Right? Like somebody's gonna try like mono black. And like there are better cards for it, but sometimes White Knight gets in, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it would be Silver Knight. It would be Core Firewalker, then Silver Knight would be your second one.
Yeah, those kind of Highlander decks you're talking about that consider White Knight, they're definitely reaching for Core Firewalker first. But yeah, there've been I've seen some White Knights flopped on the YJ Monday Night Highlander tables. Like And usually if it's happening, I'm really mad about it. See earlier conversation about Sign and Blood.
We have a wolf token and a forest, and our rare is Goblin Chieftain. 1 red for a 2/2 goblin with haste, and other goblins you control get +1/+1 and haste themselves.
This is how you like your goblins to have haste. Take that raging goblin, put it away. Goblin Chieftain, that's goblins with haste that you can get behind.
Yeah, this is just still one of the best goblins.
Is this on Arena?
I think so. I think they snuck it into one of the historic packs, or it's in Jumpstart maybe.
So is this part of the reason that the Muzio deck was such a problem? Not Muzio, Muxus.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because that deck was just like, I was watching the Mythic Invitational, the historic Mythic Invitational, and Muxus was just all over the shop. Oh yeah, the card.
Yeah, they have it. It's from it's Jumpstart, I think.
Yeah, James says it's in Jumpstart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll take that. Definitely going to wheel that Raging Goblin. So there we go.
Double haste.
Yeah.
There's a world I would have taken the Excommunicate
over the White Knight.
Yeah. Like, there's a world where you just want to be an attacking deck, and the first strike isn't as relevant. But I think the Goblin Chieftain is the most powerful card. I just played enough of this limited format that I can remember trying to figure out what everyone's biases were as I sat down, drafting with the same 7 other people week after week.
Fair enough.
Howl of the Nightback's also a consideration. That's right.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, for our last pack, I can't wait to see how this goes, because James was the one that was like, yo, go get some old cards. And I thought, okay, and tried to find the oldest pack I could. And this is from 1995. It was given to us by Tony. It just says Tony in all caps.
Thanks, Tony.
And this is a pack of Renaissance in German.
Wheeler must be so, his bones are probably shivering right now.
Yeah. It's only got 8 Spielkarten in it. But so ordinarily when we open foreign language packs, we have the automated card reader, but we'll just have to see if I can recognize the art or if we can suss out the name. So let's see. What was Renaissance?
Okay, I'm probably supposed to be able to answer this question, but I've never gotten a pack of it. So I believe Renaissance was European only Chronicles, but better. Like, it wasn't the exact same list as Chronicles, but it came out around the same time. 1995 was earlier, I guess. Maybe I thought Chronicles was 96. I'm just going from memory here, kids. I'm not at my computer Googling. So yeah, I think it's includes any of the cards from any of the first few expansions.
Yeah, it listed on the back of them that it's the booster pack here. It says cards from Antiquities, Legends, Arabian Nights, and the Dark, which is the same as Chronicles. But the trick is that these cards have black border.
All right.
Whereas Chronicles were all white bordered because Wizards had some sort of bizarre self-inflicted rule at the time.
Yes.
About a card's first printing had to be black border. So
first printing in any given language.
Yeah.
Right?
So
yeah.
Chronicles was white border because they were all reprints. Now they just do everything in black border because they just, generally speaking, look better. You can fight me on that if you want to. I know that there's some division on the subject. Generally speaking, I think they look better. But at the time, none of these cards had been printed in these languages in either a core set or an expansion. So they had to, by their rules that they invented, print them black bordered.
Right. I thought there was also 1 or 2 cards from the core set that snuck in there for some reason. They hadn't been in a previous language set or something like that. Or maybe it's just I'm thinking that there's cards from Renaissance that aren't in Chronicles from the other expansion sets.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at what we got here.
Oh boy.
First up is Oase, which is a
Oasis?
land. Yeah, I believe it's Oasis. It taps to Verhindir 1 Schadenspunkt.
If that's prevent 1 damage, we're looking at Oasis.
by Einer Krater. Good news, land in German is still land.
Nice. Is the artist Brian Snowdy?
Yes, yeah, no, it's
Okay.
definitely no. I can see what
right.
what's been pulled up on screen, and that is indeed correct.
Okay. Exciting.
All right. Next is Orks von der Eisernen Klaue.
Oh, Brass Claw Orcs.
I think that's correct. This is the guy that looks like a Cabal from Destiny, and there's like weird glyphs on some sort of cartouche behind him. It's like he looks like a space marine. It's very, very futuristic looking armor.
So, isn't that Ironclaw Orcs from beta then? Is it like one generic and a red for a 2/2, and it looks like a space marine orc?
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So this card's from beta, and
oh yeah, there's no expansion symbol on it.
Backs up my previous thing about I think did Chronicles actually also just include some cards from the core set as well? I legitimately can't remember.
I guess it did. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning into our podcast where several old men who did play Magic cards as kids realize that they are no longer kids.
The text, if you care, is it cannot be used to block any creature of power more than 1. Also, I've just been informed that Scryfall does not have the German versions of these.
Perfect.
So this is great. All right. Sturmram. I know this one. It's Battering Ram.
Okay, great.
Sturmram. There's a lot of M's.
Legends, right? Or the dark?
Antiquities, I think.
Oh, cool. Okay.
It's the anvil symbol.
The anvil? Yeah, that's Antiquities.
It's 2 mana for a 1/1 artifact creature. I don't know what else Battering Ram does. Oh, right. It bans, but only when attacking. And any wall blocking Battering Ram is destroyed, and walls destroyed this way deal their damage before dying? Wow.
Last strike against walls. Or against defenders.
Would you believe that takes fewer words to say in German?
Is it all one word?
No, well, there is one particularly long word. But no, it's actually just fewer characters.
Huh.
The bands. So I think it's banding is the word that's very long. Because it says the first sentence is bands, but only when attacking, which in German is hat Bundnifhigkeit, comma, Weinsee angrieft. And then, the second sentence is not as complicated. Okay. Next, we have Fromigkeit. Okay, this is a Samite dude, I think. Or no, it's a spell. It's okay. The art is a man with a big beard and a yellow and blue headscarf reading a book in a room with Gothic windows. He sits in profile to camera.
Latinam Sage?
I don't know. It's an instant, I think. It's 2 and a white.
Oh.
I want to say all blocking creatures get +0/+3.
Whoa.
Or maybe just...
Huh. Oh.
Okay. Is it Piety?
Okay, James has the art up.
Yeah, I recognize this art now.
Yeah, I have no idea what...
Piety, yeah.
Oh, did I get it right the first time?
You
nice.
did, yeah, Piety. And all blocking creatures get +0/+3 until end of turn. Amazing. Huh. All right. I don't think that's a very good card.
No, that sucks.
It's bad.
Okay. What's the big veiny-necked tortoise?
Is it...
It's 1 and a blue for a 1/1.
Giant tortoise? Yeah, that gets +0/+3?
Yes.
Giant tortoise.
Wow. Okay.
Much better than Piety. This card's like... I mean... It's obviously not good by today's standards, but this was sort of like a precursor to like the slightly undercosted but have no power blue creatures, right? Like today we play 1 blue mana for a 0/5 from Ikoria, right? And there's tricks you can do with Doran or whatever, those kinds of effects. But the basic idea is just like, okay, early game play for blue. Just play a creature that just sits there and discourages attacking.
Okay, so it's a 1/1 for 1 and a blue, but it gets +3/+0 if it's untapped.
Yeah, and your uncle is going to have like the audacity to give it vigilance somehow, and then plink in, and then you won't have like a good block either, and it's just annoys everyone.
Next, Dusterwaldkieler.
Okay.
Oh, that's very good. I know I know what this card is from the art, just because it's Dirkwood Boars, and I know that because of this dumbass looking boar on the left side of the image who looks like he's going and laughing at you for daring to cast such a mediocre card, because it's a 4/4 for 4 and a green.
When Dirkwood Boars came out, it was exciting. That mana cost only got you 3 power on any other card. Like Iron Root Treefolk was a 3/5, and that was like kind of the best stats you could get.
That boar clearly thinks you're an idiot, though, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Also, the Bible verse as the flavor text.
Yeah, we had that on the Piety as well, which I guess is maybe a little bit more in keeping on Piety. But
I just like how this flavor text implies that these boars are the ones possessed by Legion.
In fact, the quote on Piety is from the Quran.
It makes sense, Arabian Nights. But yeah, this seems out of place. Did they just do a word search?
And the unclean spirits went out and entered the wine, and the herd ran violently.
And entered the swine. Yeah,
the swine. Sorry,
it's okay.
Anyone got a like any literary reference we can make to pigs? No, anyone?
This passage from Mark might have been in like a 90s movie that someone had seen. That's my way out there guess.
Yeah, maybe there was a horror movie with the demon Legion in it.
Richard Garfield might have just had to do a lot of Bible classes as a kid.
Oh, possibly.
There's all kinds of reasons why this random quote from 5th book of Mark or whatever, Mark chapter 5, is in here.
Because it does seem kind of wildly out of place.
Biblical swine.
When was Dirkwood Boars first printed?
Legends, by the look of it.
Yeah, so 94?
I mean, that's the year Pulp Fiction came out, so I don't know, maybe.
Kurt Cobain died.
Next, we have Blutrausch, or Bloodlust. And I know this one because I can't get this horrible image out of my head either.
Why would you want to, though?
It's 1 in a red for a woman who's just really into this like wall of tissue. It's very strange. And it's an instant, and target creature gets +4/-4 until end of turn. If this reduces the creature's toughness below 1, the creature's toughness is 1.
I just remember the story of this card's art being that it was a non-English-speaking artist who had never heard this expression before and was like, I guess. It's kind of a weird thing, but sure, why not? It's a living.
Okay. I think that's not the case, because the artist is Anson Maddox, who is... I mean, if in 1994 he hadn't spoken English yet, that would be impressive and surprising me, because I met him in, I want to say, like 2004, probably 2005, and he seemed like a native English speaker to me.
He might have just not been familiar with the expression then. Maybe that was the story I heard.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. It's also possible he would just only heard the second word and then painted the thing red afterwards. I don't know. But definitely this card, to me, it says like, okay, Anson Max paints this, and then the rest of Wizards of the Coast is, we need to get this guy painting vampires. So then they did that a bunch.
I just found an interview with him on Magic Untapped, where he's asked, have you ever tried a more out-of-the-box approach to a card where you try a new perspective or style? And he answers, I only take a boxed approach to my work when I need to plant a seed of normalcy amongst my undulant, glistening brood, so as to wave a friendly hello neighbor to any of you who start to grow uneasy with me. Actually, bloodlust is what happens to me when I try too hard to be different. I still think it's funny, though.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. No. Okay.
This card was real good, by the way, too. Just being able to deal 4 damage extra to your opponent's face for 2 mana was like something of a revelation back in 94.
Also, looking at Anson Maddox's card history, he's done a lot of like really cool cards, like Breeding Pit, Darrelor, Thrall Wizard,
Living Wall.
Man, Fallen Empires was sweet.
Anson Maddox was one of the original 25 Magic artists back when there was only 25 who had ever worked on the game.
Yeah, he painted Sengir Vampire.
Maze of Ith.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nice.
And
Herloon Minotaur, right? Or no, that's Mark Tedin, isn't it?
no, that's Anson Maddox.
Oh, is that? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Our last card, with art by Quentin Hoover, Felwar Stein.
Nice. We got a playable.
Felwar Stone. It's 2 mana for an artifact. Tap it to help.
It adds a mana of any color that, or maybe it's type. It's either type or color, but the kind of mana that your opponent's land could produce.
Ah, okay. That's definitely what that says. Oh, there it is in English. Okay.
Any type. Okay, so it does work with wastes. Yeah.
Play this ability as a mana source. I mean, I do like the Quentin Hoover's art, but I like that. Sorry, Quentin. I think I've been pronouncing it incorrectly. I like that, the Felwar Stone. It's a magical stone. Taps for mana. And he's like, I got you, boss. Here it is. It's a stone. It's got gold veins in it. There you go. I get the impression it's like, yeah, but that's what we asked for. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, don't know what we expected.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of like, we have Sapphire Diamond at home vibes to it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, like this is half of a Mind Stone.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I mean, it's sometimes better than all those other ones, right? Like it does come into play untapped and taps for mana that turn. Like there's not that many of the sort of new school of fair mana rocks that do that. Oftentimes your threshold's a little bit higher. But yeah, in these 8 card packs, I guess you don't always get a rare. Like maybe are there only rares in half of them or something? Or
I don't know. I have no idea if one of these is a rare or not. If we look into it.
Like Chronicles definitely had, at the time this mattered, they had the Elder Dragons in them. So I would guess that Renaissance packs can also have, black bordered copies of Nicol Bolas, which have like now gone back up to the price they were in 1994, which is sweet. But this pack probably cumulatively is worth less than what Tony paid for it or whoever paid for it, but was still, a wild ride to open up and go down memory lane. So thank you, Tony.
Yeah, for sure. I imagine that if there is a card that was considered rare at the time, it's probably something like the Oasis.
Yep, that's possible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, James has just informed me, I missed this earlier, that the Oracle text on Bloodlust is if the target creature has toughness 5 or greater, it gets +4/-4 until end of turn. Otherwise, it gets +4/-X until end of turn, where X is its toughness -1. I love that there's some of these cards where they've gone back and been like, okay, we want to make this card mechanically do what it's always done, but make it fit within the modern rule set. How do we have to ruin grammar to make that happen?
But every once in a while, you get oubliette.
Yeah.
That's so elegant, though, the way they handled that.
Somebody must have, there must have been cheering.
Yeah.
When somebody's
imagine
like,
so.
hey, I figured it out, right?
Phase.
And there was just high fives.
I'm going to guess it was an argument, actually. I'm going to guess there were some oubliette purists at R&D when this idea came out. They were just like, no. Oubliette is an Oblivion ring. Like it exiles the creature, right? Like that's how it worked when it first came out. I think the Arabian Nights oubliettes say removed from play or whatever. So there would have been some people who were against it, but they eventually came around after a rousing speech from your protagonist who had the light bulb moment.
Right. I guess, and a schism was narrowly avoided.
Yeah, who knows? Or maybe the oubliette discussion happened years ago and this phasing thing was ready to pounce, but then it was just tearing the inside of R&D apart. Probably not.
If you know, email us
Exactly.
anonymously.
That's right.
That is going to do it for this episode of Tap Tap Concede. So thank you to Tony and Philippe on Andrew G's behalf, and Jonas for these packs. And thank you all for listening. It's been fun. It was neat to go back to Innistrad and Corset, even though it was Corset, just sort of around when we started playing. I can't believe there's cards in there that literally we were all like, I've never seen this card before. But that is going to do it for this week. A reminder that the show is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Do check out cardkingdom.com/LRR for all your card needs. And of course, the show is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Until next time, I've been Graham, joined by Nelson.
Be kind to each other.
And Cameron.
Be kind, rewind. Wait.
James was running the card reader. The audio editing was done by Jordan Hatton, and Heather does podcast admin for us. Thank you all so much. Talk to you next time. Bye.